Now, there are loads of videos out there already teaching you how to grow your YouTube channel, but a lot of them are focused on things like tags, titles, thumbnails, things that I would call accessories, and they're avoiding the main thing, audience retention, and I'm going to show you how to improve that in this video. Focusing on your avatar. An avatar is the average person that will consume your content, and it's really important to think of that person right from the start when you decide to make a video. And you need to ask yourself some questions about that avatar. For example, how old are they? What problems of theirs can you solve with your YouTube videos? What do they do for work, for example? What's their life situation? What would make them click on a video? What do they want to know? What would attract them in a video hook? Those are the kinds of questions that you need to ask yourself about your avatar before you even make your video, to make sure that the topic, the content of your video is as engaging as possible. The title and thumbnail. Now, I know earlier on I said it was a little bit of an accessory, but a good title and thumbnail is all kind of a piece of the pie of gaining audience retention on your videos, right? A good title and thumbnail gives the viewer a clear idea of what the video is about without totally giving the content of the video away. Here's what I do on a thumbnail of mine. So the YouTube channel that I have is around fantasy football. And you can see here my thumbnail, I've got a picture of a player that people might want to see me buy or other people should buy in the game. And then I've also got a player that's kind of hidden away with a question mark on them to create a little bit of intrigue. And I find this way of making thumbnails with kind of the silhouetted player with the question mark as the best way to get people to click. And a similar kind of concept follows with your title. You want to give a viewer an idea of what the video is about without giving everything away. Now, starting a YouTube channel can be a lonely journey at times, and that's why I've created a Discord community. The idea of this is you can join and talk to like-minded content creators about YouTube video ideas, problems you're having, get a bit of motivation from one another. You know, anything you like, basically. I've created this Discord community and I want to give it away to you totally for free. You can join it using the link in the description below. You need a good hook. A hook is the first 15 to 30 seconds of your video, and you need to make sure as a YouTuber that the first 15 to 30 seconds of all of your videos are as engaging as possible. So things you can do on a good hook. You can make a bold statement, ask a really hard-hitting question, or tell someone exactly what they're going to get at the end of your video. You need to make sure that you have a real high energy and show genuine passion and enthusiasm about the topic that you're talking about in your video. And you also need to ensure that the editing is as engaging as possible. With the hooks I make on these videos, I genuinely spend as long editing the hook as I do the rest of the video. You need to try and absolutely fill that hook with as many zoom in, zoom out, B-roll, sound effects, graphics on screen, text coming on screen, you name it. You need to try and fill that hook with as many sort of engaging edits as possible. And an additional piece of advice I give is check out some of the other creators in your space, right? What are they doing in their hooks that you could potentially take inspiration on? Not necessarily copy. I wouldn't copy them like for like, but I would definitely take inspiration from what other people are doing in your niche that works. And again, just going back to the hook needs to be the most engaging part of your video, the main bulk of the video. Throughout the video, you need to make sure that you're drip feeding your viewer with information that delivers them value without just giving everything away at the start, and also traveling like a fine line between really seriously drip feeding to the point where people just give up on you. You need to try and find a balance here. An appropriate amount of information at different times where a viewer is tempted to continue watching the video because you're delivering value, but not click off because they've gotten all the value that they wanted. Think of most videos as a journey, right? People love a journey. Take your viewer through a journey from where they are now to where they're going to be at the end, which is kind of what I'm doing here. I'm taking you through the entire process of creating a video and what you can do at each process to make it as engaging as possible. I'm taking you on that journey. And where possible, you need to try and be unpredictable, right? One of the things I think that makes me click off videos most often is when I can literally predict word for word what this YouTuber is going to tell me. So try and be unpredictable. You know, editing little clips that someone might be surprised by, or completely change the context of what they're seeing on screen for a bit of time, just to keep their brains engaged and refreshed and keeping things unpredictable. Some secret editing tricks. Right, I'm going to finish the video just by talking about some kind of secrets that I do to help try and increase retention and engagement on my videos around the video editing process. Quite simply, if you watch most of my videos, towards the end, I kind of peter off my editing, because I think if someone gets to like 4 or 5 minutes into your video, they're pretty much sold on the idea of listening to you until the end. But up until that point, I don't like to leave time on screen for too long where I'm just in this singular pose without any effects, any context shifts. The longest I want to really be talking in front of camera with nothing happening is around 15 seconds. Any longer than that, you can kind of see people's focus dwindle. So what can I do in terms of edits? Well, I can include some text on a screen. I can put a list up next to me. I quite like the list because it helps deliver value, but also changes the context of the video. You can add little zoom in animations, little dynamic zooms where you kind of zoom in on out of screen, add some sound effects, things moving on screen, changing your location, anything like that are good ideas of kind of mid-video context shifts that you can do to keep a viewer engaged. All right, well, that's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one and found it useful. I've got loads more videos on this channel teaching you everything you need to know when you're starting a YouTube channel. You can check one out, which should be just here on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe to the Tom H Coaching channel, which should be just here on your screen. All right, thank you very much for watching, and be sure to leave a like rating. I'll catch you in my next video.